Welcome to Southampton, England. My name is Philip and I will be your tour guide today. We are at the port that the great Titanic ship departed from. From here, we will board a smaller vessel that will take us to the site of the Titanic wreckage way down on the ocean floor. While this may be the Titanic today, it was once thought to be the ship of dreams. Let's go back to see why people put so much hope into this ship. Considering how much was put into the design and building of the Titanic, it's easy to wonder why they didn't have a plan in case of disaster. However, when the Titanic set sail with approximately 2,230 people, it only had 20 lifeboats on board. That meant there was only room for 1,178 passengers to be saved. Let's go talk to one of the survivors who made it onto a lifeboat and lived to tell what it was like the night the Titanic sank.
My father went away and spoke to an officer, and he said, they are going to launch lifeboats, but you'll all be back on board for breakfast. There wasn't any panic until the lifeboats left, and then there was panic galore. We were down on the ocean. We could hear them running about on the decks and screaming. You can imagine people came up from their cabin, went onto the deck, no lifeboat, tearing around the other side. That's when the panic was there. There wasn't any panic at the time I got in the lifeboat because there weren't enough people up there. And there were enough people there to just get into the lifeboats. But after that, when the others started coming up from their cabins and there were no boats, gosh, there was panic. We could hear it. Definitely.
As each lifeboat reached the water, it moved away from the ship for fear of the suction should she sink.
Now let's go back under to see just what happened that made the unsinkable ship sink.
Veering to port, go 22 knots, sideswipes the iceberg. Murdoch ports around the iceberg, try to keep from hitting the propellers. That looks pretty good. Okay, so now we're watching an accelerated time. We see the first 5 compartments flood. They equalize pretty quickly. Bows pulled down. We see the port list. Port list looks right. That looks like about 9 degrees. Well, you can really see the effect of that list on the flooding. So yeah, superstructure starts to get pulled under. Funnels collapse at their base. Now the bow is accelerating downward. That looks good. We're starting to see the stern come up. We got our maximum peak stress, and yeah, boom, boom, it breaks. Okay, bow swinging down. That looks good. The double keel hang on, and then they separate. Bow plunges straight down. All right, we got mast snapping back. The funnels are ripping backwards, pulling off all the davits. Bow's going down like a torpedo. Here's the angle when it falls through into a stable position. Let's see the stern. Heeling way over to port, that looks right. And she goes, yep, that's right. She goes almost vertical just when she goes under, and then boom, implodes. Now she accelerates, and all the stuff starts to rip off. You see the shell plating going, there goes the double bottom frisbeeing off. And the stern's falling through. So now the stern's falling aft end down. and we see the spiraling. Here comes the bow. Bow is falling in a stable position, and it hits. Yeah, boom. It kind of breaks its back, and we see the hydraulic outburst and the downblast effect. Let's see the stern. We see the shell plating blowing off, decks, everything kind of settling around it. Looks like a big airplane crash site. Bada bing, bada boom. That's exactly what we're looking for.
There are many theories as to why the Titanic sank. Was it just the iceberg? We may never know. Enjoyed our field trip to the RMS Titanic. Please take a few more quick looks around and remember the lives lost to this industrial disaster.